Modern man has an intimate relationship with nature. Let's go hunting, fishing, gathering, farming, socializing. Actually, modern man is insulated from nature. Back to nature, retreat to nature, the nature effect. They all refer to the same thing, the essential value of spending time in nature. You may leave nature, but nature never leaves you. She's always there waiting for you. So today, it's back to nature. A nice, vigorous hike, 6:30 in the morning, about 3 miles in. I love the solitude in the dark. I love to see the night turn to day, to see the grays of the canyon morph into spectacular cliffs and monuments. It's also 10 plus hours of exercise, sunlight, and incredible views. But why? I could say, I don't know why I like it, I just do. And that's enough of a reason, but there's more to it than that. Modern life has isolated us from nature. Our homes and offices are climate controlled with LED lights and windowless walls so that we often have no idea what the weather is like outside. We spend hours staring at a computer screen, go home and watch unrealistic shows on big screen TVs, often with surround sound. But that is not the world our ancestors inhabited or in which our bodies evolved to survive and prevail. Something is missing if we live solely in the modern world of electric lights, climate control, cars, and computer screens. When you're out in nature, you can feel the cold bite of the night air warm as the sun comes out. And just let me draw on the experience of man's best friend, the dog, for a minute. I had a dog who was never hungry for a minute of his life. But when he was a puppy, he would fill his cheeks with dog food, run out to the far corner of the backyard and bury the food, I assume in case times got rough. No one taught him to do this. It was hardwired into his DNA. And I think that same kind of hardwiring also exists in humans. We're hardwired to have a connection with nature. And that dog, coincidentally, never felt more comfortable than when we were out in nature camping. The rhythm of day turning to night, cooking food over a fire, and clustering in tight with a pack in the tent seemed to be the most natural thing in the world to him, and to me as well. In nature, we're exposed to the patterns of sunrise and sunset, hot and cold. The circle of vision shrinks with the dark and our eyes adjust. Sun brings the morning without the artificial influence of electric lights, heat, or cell phones. In nature, we don't have easy access to a soda or a beer. You have to carry what you need with you. And it's refreshing to wake up to a chilly morning without the hangover from the night on the town or the need to pull your coffee cup from a timed coffee maker. Nature takes us back to our roots. Pettiness, politics, and personalities go away. Nature is not political, nature is. It's a place to retreat in a world full of conflict. The worries of the workaday world disappear. In nature, you don't have the convenience of cars with power steering, automatic transmissions, and heated seats. We heat our bodies naturally, and we get exercise far exceeding our workaday world. Plus, there's the vitamin D exposure. About 40% of Americans are deficient in vitamin D, and I was one of them. As a youth, I was a lifeguard, and as an adult, I took the advice to avoid the sun and wear sunscreen. But I found out that vitamin D is more than just a simple vitamin, but more of a hormone that has broad effects on health. After being found deficient, I increased my sun exposure, something with which a return to nature helps. Plus, sun exposure helps with so much more. Sunlight boosts serotonin production, balances melatonin, can lead to better moods, better sleep, and better health. And you get sunlight out here in nature, not under LED lights. This belief is nothing new. As the world became more industrialized, 200 years ago, Frederick Olmsted launched the American Parks movement, which sought to make public parks democratic spaces to restore people's connection to nature and heal the stresses of city life. From New York Central Park to Yosemite, Olmsted recognized the value of nature. He said, "Nature is not a luxury, but a necessity. We need the calming influence of green spaces to cleanse our souls and rejuvenate our spirits." One of the reasons you likely have parks in your urban area is the influence of people like Olmsted and people who have followed his example over the years. Nature is constant, predictable, calming, and challenging. When you go out in nature, you have to consider issues of water, food, and even rest breaks, things that are so convenient in city life, but these tasks are also kind of familiar and kind of fun. There are challenges out in nature, but I don't think of the encounter as man conquering nature, but man cooperating with nature. Nature is what supports and sustains us. Of course, I go out into nature with supplies from my city life and the intent of returning to it, but regular doses of nature, to me, are essential to my health and enjoyment of life. They also say that nature helps you to focus. In a world of traffic, text messages, radio music, and constant stimulation, I find it hard to argue with that point. With a view like this, it's hard not to focus on the singular beauty of nature. I've had an interesting and varied life, and I've sat behind the seats of power and instituted policies that have helped large numbers of people. But I burned out on politics and I walked away. Now I find there's nothing more meaningful or rewarding for me than the singular focus and peace I find out in nature. Numerous studies confirm the benefits of nature. Here's just one, a meta-analysis or study of studies. They said, quote, "We found evidence for associations between exposure to nature and improved cognitive function, brain activity, blood pressure, mental health, physical activity, and sleep. Results from experimental studies indicated protective effects of nature exposure on mental health and cognitive function. Cross-sectional observational studies provide evidence of positive associations between nature exposure, higher levels of physical activity, and lower levels of cardiovascular disease." Close quote. Particularly in tough times, but really all the time, I like to retreat to nature. When things are going badly, I like the constant presence of nature, and I say, no matter what, they can't take this from me. And in good times, I love the quiet contemplation and sense of calm I find here. And in a world of conflict, I just have to ask, why isn't this enough? It's hard for me to feel conflict, conquest, desire, or anything other than peace when I'm immersed in nature. I wish our leaders would spend more time in nature instead of locked in conflict in closed rooms. I find peace in my retreat to nature. How about you?